So, the internet. It's part of our daily lives. It's in everything we use, whether that be our computers, our cell phones, our smartwatches, heck, even our washers and dryers, and even light bulbs are connected to the internet. You may use it to browse for information, get some news, watch a video or two, but have you ever stopped and wondered how all of this works? Well, in this video, I'll explain to you how the internet works in a very easy way, without all the big words and all the big terms, and hopefully you'll have a better understanding for the internet yourself. So sit back and relax and enjoy the video. So what is the internet? Well, the internet is nothing more than just a giant network. Now, what is a network? Well, a network is nothing more than just a group of interconnected devices. These devices can be things such as your cell phone, your laptop, your desktop computer, your game console, heck, even your TV is part of that network. In the world, there's many different types of networks. I'm not going to get into all the details of every single one of them, but the two most commonly used ones are the local area network, or the LAN, and the wide area network, known as the WAN. And the WAN is what is the internet, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But let's take a look at an example through these diagrams of what a local area network looks like, and then we'll get to the WAN. So let's say that this is your home, and let's say that these are your devices. You have your desktop computer, your tablet, your cell phone, and your laptop. You want them all to be part of a network. What would you do? Now, there's many different ways that you can connect them together, but the most commonly used one is the wireless fidelity network, or as everybody knows it as Wi-Fi. How does it work? Well, typically, somewhere in your home, you would have a device known as a router. Now, a router acts as an access point, and it has a network ID and password that you would have to enter in each of your devices to connect to it. Now, once connected to the router, your devices can all intercommunicate with each other and send messages to each other. Now let's take a look at a wide area network. So if we zoom out a little bit to go outside of your home, we take a look at, say for example, your neighborhood or your city, this is what a wide area network would be, or what we know as the internet. We have all the different computers that are connected together through ISPs, or your internet service provider, and chances are your home network is also connected to this. So that in short is what the local area network is and what the wide area network is. And we now know that the internet is known as a wide area network. But now that these devices are connected to each other, how do they communicate with each other? How do they know who is who? Well, computers use something known as the IP address system, or the Internet Protocol Addressing System. What is this? You could think about it as if it was just a phone number that is assigned to every single computer that exists on a network, and an IP address looks something like this. If you know this IP address, then you can actually make a request to that specific computer and ask it for something. Let's take a look at a quick example. So let's open up this web browser over here, and let's put in the following IP address into the address bar: 142.250.189.174, and let's click enter, and it brings us to google.com. Now you're probably asking yourself, I don't always know the IP address of the website that I want to visit. I typically will put in the URL to that website. So how does my browser actually know what is the IP address of the website I want to visit? Your browser will be able to find the IP address thanks to something known as the DNS, or the domain name system. Think about this as like a giant address book that has the URLs of websites mapped to their respective IP addresses, kind of like your contacts list on your phone. If I were to give you a phone right now and ask you, hey, dial your friend Bob's phone number right now, put it in and click call, would you be able to remember his phone number off the top of your head? Probably not. You would probably go through your contacts list, find Bob, click his name, and then you'd be able to make the call. Well, the same thing happens in DNS. Let's take a look at this. So let's say, for example, you want to visit google.com. The first thing that you're going to need is the IP address of a DNS server. Well, how does your browser know what the DNS server's IP address is? Well, typically, your router in your home will have that stored in its memory. So then you can make a request to this DNS server and ask it, hey, do you know the IP address of google.com? More than likely, it has it in its memory and it will send it back to you, so then you can make a request to google.com. However, it's possible that a DNS server does not have the IP address stored. So what does it do? Well, the next part of the journey is to go and ask the root servers, which manage something known as the top level domains. These are your .coms, your .cas, your .nets, your .orgs. And it's going to ask it, hey, can you give me the IP address of the top level domain servers? just like this. It's going to look in its memory and say, hey, I know the IP address of the top level domain that manages.com, and give it back to the DNS server. The DNS server can now make a request to the top level domain. Now the top level domains, they don't know exactly where google.com's IP address is. They only know the authoritative name server IP addresses. And these authoritative name servers manage something known as the second level domains, which is what is highlighted here in yellow. So it'll look through its memory and try to find, okay, google.com, who's its authoritative name server? Okay, I got the IP address, and I'm going to send it back now to the DNS server. The DNS server can now make its final request to the authoritative name servers, which would have the IP address of google.com. This authoritative name server will then send it back to the DNS server, which will then send it back to you, and voila, you can finally visit google.com. Now, if that sounds like a journey of, hey, do you know, hey, do you know, hey, do you know, hey, do you know? Well, that's pretty much how the internet works, and this works super, super fast. You barely get the time to see it. And that's what's amazing about this technology, is that it's just happening all behind the scenes. Well, that was quite a journey, and hopefully you got a better understanding of how the internet actually works. If you'd like for me to actually go more in depth on every single leg of the journey in more detail, leave a comment below and I'll try to make another video on how each single part of the journey actually works. Now, I made this video because I want to tie it into another video I'm going to be making, which is how websites work. So that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.